Hey guys, welcome back to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart. We're going to finish off the Hammer House of Horror in this episode and have a little chat about the episode Growing Pains. So, if you've got any suggestions for the next episodes, and between the Buffy episodes, of course, this podcast, when it started out, was inspired by Buffy the Vampire Slayer, hence the title Hellmouth Hotline. And we're going 5 days a week, and we'll do an episode of Buffy, then an episode of something else, then another episode of Buffy. So every other episode will be something other than Buffy. So we've got an open slot now. So if you have any suggestions for anything to go on to those gaps, please let me know. I've got a few things lined up myself, but your input would be very, very much welcomed. So let's get into this episode, and I hope you enjoy it. The final review of the Hammer House of Horror box set is an episode called Growing Pains. Stars Barbara Kellerman, Gary Bond, and I'd wrecked my head for a while watching the start of this here, because I recognised her face straight away. And have you seen the Chronicles of Narnia TV movies from the 80s? She was the White Witch, and yes, I had to actually stop the episode and look that up, because it was just taking me out altogether. Little things that annoy my happiness. This episode, I'm not going to go into any major detail in this one. It's just, for me, this episode felt so much like a script that was just read far too much by the producers and the people that made it. And you know, you're watching things and you think to yourself, okay, whoever was behind this episode, when they were cutting it, putting it together, they took things out that they really should have left. And you know, it's the old story, and I've seen it millions of times. Well, not millions of times, I've seen it loads of times myself in the past. Different people making the same mistakes and making things from an indie perspective, and I did fall for it briefly at the start myself. You would write something and you would read it so much, and you would have so much of it in your head that you would, when you were making it and then you were editing it, you would be taking stuff out because you're thinking, this doesn't need to be in this because I know where this is going. And the operative thing there is, I know where this is going, and that's what I think went wrong with this episode. The filmmakers knew where it was going, and for some reason, when you're in that frame of mind, you don't think about the audience members who haven't read the script. You know, if you're sitting down to watch this here, you need a copy of the script, the original screenplay, to actually know what's going on. Don't get me wrong, it had the potential to be a very, very good episode. Felt very much like The Omen and the setup at the beginning. Basically, this husband and wife, she's a diplomat. The husband is a botanist, and he's trying to create a food supplement that will help like third world countries, you know, like a food supplement that would, you know, keep people alive. And it's good work that they're trying to do. But their son dies after eating some poisonous stuff in his workshop at the beginning, or his lab at the beginning of the episode, and they adopt another child. He comes in and he kind of has like an evil streak in him, and it's almost as if he's in contact with the dead son. And there's a crazy bit in it where their dog goes mad and attacks, and they poison the dog using the same stuff that killed the son. And then doesn't really explain how it happens, but the son makes an appearance again, like the spirit of the son that both of them see. And from there it leads into an ending where the dead son steals the plant that the father had been working on to create this food supplement, and runs into the forest with it to his grave. And while the father's chasing him, trying to get the plant off him, he falls into an open grave, gets killed. And then the mother, Kellerman, and the adopted son look at the dead son's grave, and there's this wreath appears on it, and she says something like it's for the hungry people of the world, and they walk off hand in hand at the end of the episode, and the gravestone doesn't just have the son's name on it now, it has the father's name and his son below it. So it's just, there's a lot of stuff in this episode. It just does not explain itself. There's not enough there for the viewer, and this is definitely the weakest episode in the series, and thank goodness it was the end of the box set, because if this appeared any earlier, I don't think I would have continued with it, in all honesty. It was just, it had the potential to be good, but as I say, whoever was the driving force behind this episode just cut stuff that shouldn't have been cut. You know, it's a mistake. I've seen a lot, and one that has happened recently was someone I know that created a project, and it started, went for a bit, and then just ended. I hadn't a clue what was going on, but you know, it's a story needs a beginning, middle, and end, and this just didn't have it. It had a beginning, it had a decent entrance into a middle, but the end of it, they just lost all sight of what they were trying to do with this episode. It was pretty disappointing in it, and I hate to be the person that craps in somebody else's parade, because, you know, I make things myself, like these videos and whatnot, and a few indie film projects that some of the past ones I did, tripping over my own feet, 100% self-taught. They're going to be uploaded to this channel shortly. So I know how difficult it is to actually get something made and out there. So, you know, I feel for people that are trying to do this sort of thing, but it either works or it doesn't work, and unfortunately this episode just did not work. And yes, thankfully, again, it is the last episode in the box set, and I think when this box set was created, they knew that this episode had to be the last one on it, because from what I could read up online on it, it had that weird ending to it. I was that lost that I went on to the internet and started looking up to see if I could find anything that explained the episode ending to it, and everybody's kind of has a similar sort of story to what I'm saying now. But the one thing I did see in it was, out of all the episodes in this, when it was originally aired on television, this was actually episode 4 in the season. So the fact that in the box set that's the last episode, I'm not surprised they did that in the layout for it. Gosh, again, I hate being the person that craps in somebody's parade, but it just didn't work, guys. It wasn't a great episode. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.